Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're checking out another Oasis classic. This one's Stand By Me from everybody's favourite Love It or Hate It album, Be Here Now. I've got a massive thank you to Alex, Stephen and June, who are my latest patrons. If you'd like to get involved in the channel and vote on my next lesson, please click the link below. And with that in mind, give me a comment, subscribe if you're not already, and let's enjoy part number 1. Before we begin, let me just run through the sound for you. So today I'm using a Les Paul, so if you've got a guitar with some humbuckers in, that's really going to help you out here. I'm using my usual pedal combination, which is a DoD Looking Glass, and then on top of that I'm using a Exotic Super Sweet, which is a boost pedal that helps me cut through the mix. With the rhythm guitar I've got a slightly lower gain setting, and for the lead guitar I've got a slightly higher gain setting, but for both of those I've boosted the bass and treble all the way to the max, so 5 o'clock on each. Now this won't necessarily work for everyone, but it works pretty well for me, so give it a try and see what you think. Other than that, I've just got the reverb dialed in, giving the notes a little bit of room to breathe, and we're just generally going for a standard rock sound, and that's all there is to it. Alright then, we're going to start by having a look at the introduction slash verse progression, and this is a really fun one. I'm going to start by showing you the example and then we're going to break it down. Check this out. So this is a really fun part to play. It sounds great electric, it sounds great acoustic for you singer-songwriters. The main thing with this one is keeping your right hand nice and relaxed for the strumming, but I'll get to the rhythm in just a moment. Let me just take you through the chords to begin with. We've got a bog standard G major, but I'm playing the full version of the G major, so I'm using all of my fingers, 3rd of the E, 2nd of the A, open D, open G, and then 3rd of B and E. The second chord we need to play is a B11 chord, which sounds like quite a scary chord, but it's nice and easy. It's like a D7 shape or a backwards D shape, but just on the lower strings. So we've got the 2nd of the A with our middle finger, 1st of the D with our index, and then 2nd of the G with our ring finger. Now on top of that we're going to add in an open B string, and at that point the chord would be a B7 chord, but then we're going to add in the open E string as well, which gives the chord a bit of a suspended quality. Now E is the 4th of B, but played at a high register it becomes an 11, so we've got B11. The next chord we've got is a straightforward C major. then after that we are going to play a C/B as a split bar. Now this is quite a strange sounding chord. So I've just moved my middle finger over to the second of the A, muted the D string, open G, first of the B and open E. Now we've still got the chord components of our C major chord here. We've got our C note, our E note and our G note, but they're all jumbled up, and then on top of that we're throwing in this B note. Now if you laid those notes out in the correct order they would form a C major 7, but like we say they're all jumbled up, so we're simply just going to call this a C major with a B in the bass, so you could write it down as C/B. And the last chord we need to play is going to be a straightforward D major. So once again that's G, B11, C major, C with a B in the bass, and a D major. Rhythmically the chords just go like this. Really focus on what my right hand's doing here. So hopefully you could see what my right hand was doing there. But if you were looking for a reference, let me just talk you through some of the aspects of that. So for the first two chords, so the G and the B11, I've got a rhythm which goes like this. It's down, 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 up, up, down, down, which translates as this. At the end of my G major chord, I'm also going to do a quick down and up stroke. I'm going to do a downstroke on the chord, and then I'm going to take my fingers off of the strings and do an upstroke, just strumming the open strings. And that will help me transition into the next chord, which is the B11. And I'm also going to do the same thing at the end of that one as well. It's a very quick part. Check this out. And one more time. I'm then going to change the rhythm for our C major. I'm going to do 2 downstrokes, then a down and up stroke. Then as we move into our C/B, I'm going to do 2 downstrokes, then an upstroke. Then I'm going to do a second upstroke, but take my fingers off of the strings once again. And that'll set us up nicely to go into our D major. And for our D, we can keep the strumming fairly open here before going round again. Check this out. Let's now have a look at the lead guitar for the introduction, and this is actually going to be the first thing which happens in the song. We are going to start all the way up at the 12th fret of our E, and we're going to play that and slide down to the 3rd fret and just hold on that for a while until the chords come in. Then, as you know, the chords are going to go around G to B11, then we've got C, and then when it goes to the C/B, we are going to come in with the lead guitar line, which goes like this. So we are starting at the 12th fret of our D, hammering onto the 14th. And I should probably just mention we're plugging in our E minor pentatonic pattern 1. Hopefully you all know that one. So we're starting on the 12th of the D, hammering onto the 14th. Going over to the 12th of the G, then playing the 14th. Then we're going to play the 14th of the G again, bending it up and holding on that note. At this point, we are going to stop the bend, we're going to bring it down. We're then going to play the 14th of the G another time, quickly bending it up and down. And that sounds like this. At this point, we'll go to the 12th of the G, hammering onto the 14th, and then play the 12th of the G twice. So together we have this. We're then going to play the 12th of the G twice, and take it back one to the 11th fret. We'll then pause for just a moment, then we'll come back in on the 12th of the D, hammering onto the 14th. And we'll do some back and forth between the 12th of the G and the 14th of the D. Then we'll hold again for just a moment and come back in on the 12th of the D, hammering onto the 14th. Same thing on the G string. Then playing the 12th by itself. Once again, going back to the 14th of the G, we're going to play that and bend it up. We're then going to stop the bend and again start another one from the 14th fret, bending up and down, then going to the 12th of the G, hammering onto the 14th, and then playing the 12th 2 times after that. Once again, all together it sounds like this. Let's now have a look at the chords for the pre-chorus, and this is a nice and easy part to play. It just goes like this. we are going to start with a C major, moving up to a D major, then over to a G, dropping the bass note down to an F sharp, and then into an E minor where we're going to hold for just a moment. And just as an alternative, when we play that G and move the bass note down to the F sharp, you could also play that as a first inversion of a D. So that would be third of the B, second of the G, second of the E. And that's got a nice quality to it as well. Either way, we're then going to move into an A sus2, which is like our A major but without the second of the B, so we're playing that as an open string. Then to finish, we're going to move back up to a C major, and then hold on a D. I should also just mention, if this is the first time you're playing the pre-chorus, you're then going to immediately go back in and play a second verse. Every time after that, you're going to lead it into a chorus. Let's now have a look at the lead guitar for the pre-chorus. Now, depending on which pre-chorus you play, they're all going to slightly vary, but the start of them is always going to be the same. It just goes like this. So we're going to start all the way up at the 12th of our A and the 14th of our G, and that's going to be an octave. And we're going to play those, muting the D string, and slide them down, and then we're going to play an open A string. We're then going to climb up to the 2nd of the A and the 3rd. Following that, we're going to slide up to the 7th of the A. Then 5/7 on the D, and then land at the 5th of the A. From here, we're very quickly going to change fingers from our index to our ring finger, playing the 5th of the A again. We're going to slide it up to the 7th, and then play the 5th of the D. From here, we're going to use our middle finger to come in at the 3rd of the E, descending down to the 2nd, and then open. From here, we're going to go to either the 5th of the E or the open A string, then climbing up to the 2nd and 3rd, and then sliding up to the 5th. And like I was saying, at this particular point, depending on where you are in the song, you're then going to play something different at the end of it. For the first pre-chorus, we're going to do this. We are simply going to let the fifth of the A ring out. We're then going to play it a second time. At this point, we're then going to play the fifth of the A again with our index finger this time, hammering onto the seventh, going to the fifth of the D, then playing the fifth of the D again, hammering onto the seventh, and then playing the fifth by itself. All together, we've got this. During the second verse, there's going to be a very quick bit of lead guitar which gets played over the D chord in the progression. I'm going to show you the example first and then we're going to break it down. Check this out. So it's a really quick part. We're going to start at the 12th of the D, hammering onto the 14th. We're then going to do the same thing on the G string, 12 to 14, but then we're going to pause. At this point, we're going to take the 14th of the G, we're going to play it, bend it up and down in one motion. At this point, we are then going to take the 12th of the G, hammer onto the 14th, then play the 12th again by itself twice. We're now going to have a look at the second pre-chorus, and the riffs at the end of this one are going to be a lot more involved than they were in the first pre-chorus. Let's have a look at the example. So the riffs this time round are a lot faster. We're going to start at the 12th of the D as we often do, hammering onto the 14th. Same thing on the G string, 12 to 14. We're then going to play the 12th of the G, 14th of the D, 12th of the G. And I'll just do that one more time. And then afterwards we've got this really quick part, so we're going to go extra slow to begin with. We're going to go to the 14th of the G, playing that and bending it up and down. Going to the 12th, and then the 14th of our D with our middle finger. And we're going to repeat that twice. To finish, we'll play the 12th of the G. Now at speed this can be quite a tricky part to play, so I'm going to play it slowly and then bring the speed up a little bit. Let's now have a look at the chords for the chorus, and this is a really iconic part of the song. It just goes like this. So we are going to start with one bar of G major, then going into one bar of D major, and one bar of A minor. Afterwards we've got the iconic stabs in the chorus, which are going to be played with a C major, then an F major, either played like this or like this. So I'm either playing the more full version with the third of the A or without. We're then going to go to a D major, either played like this or played as the first inversion. So I've got the second of the low E there as well. Either of those would sound like this. Either way sounds pretty great. I should also just mention we're going to do 2 palm mutes in between each stab as well. So we've got this. We're going to play through this part 3 times, so we have this. We're then going to play the progression a 4th time, playing 1 bar of G, 1 bar of D, then we'll go to A minor, moving up to C, and then D, and from there we'll move into the next section. To finish part number 1, we're going to have a look at the chorus lead guitar. Have a look at this. It's a really iconic part of the song, so we want to make sure we get it right. We're going to start at the 12th of the D, then we're going to play the 14th. And once again, that's going to be a hammer on. We'll then go over to the 12th of the G, and then move back on to the 11th fret. We've then got a little bending sequence to play. We're going to start by going to the 14th of the G, and we're going to play that, bend it up and down, and then move to the 12th. We're then going to immediately come back in with another bend on the 14th of the G, but this time we're going to play it, bend up, then we're going to stop it and play the 12th by itself. All together we get this. Afterwards we're going to join in with the rhythm guitar and we're going to play the stabs. Now for us, we're just going to focus on the lower notes, so we're going to start by playing the 3rd of the A. Then we're going to do 2 string rakes, and that's just on the E and A strings. Then we'll do the 1st of the E, then another 2 string rakes, 2nd of the E, then another 2 string rakes, and then the 3rd. Now we just need to join those 2 parts up together. We're going to repeat them 3 times. We're then going to play the sequence a 4th time, but we're going to play something slightly different. It goes like this. So this time round we're going to play that bending sequence 3 times, and then afterwards we've got this descending run, and that's going to start at the 12th of the G, and we're going to begin by playing the 12th of the G 3 times, starting with an upstroke. We're then going to play it a 4th time and slide it down 1 fret to the 11th. We're then going to play the 11th fret sliding down to the 9th, and then playing the 9th sliding down to the 7th. We're then going to play the 7th twice, and then slide it down and play the open G. So we have this. To finish off the whole part, we're then going to play this riff. And to play this, we're going to start at the 2nd of the A, hammering onto the 3rd. We'll then play the open D, open G, Then we're going to go backwards, open D again, then third of the A, second of the A, open, and third of the E. So that concludes part number 1 for my lesson on Stand By Me. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you now with the backing track, which is going to summarise everything we've learnt so far.